Guys, what's up? So, today we'll start with the second part of our second chapter in continuation to the first, that is Business Policy and Strategic Management 2.2. So, this video is conceptualized by me, Ayush Sanghi. As you know that I am a practicing chartered accountant. I've taught and I'm a teacher by passion. So my passion is shown through these high quality education, accessible education tutorials and this education revolution, as I like to call it, through an academy. This is my URL on Facebook. Like, comment, subscribe on this Facebook and I will give reply to you from here. Continuation, finally, we come to the definition of strategic management. You may be thinking that this is the fourth video where we're studying strategic management, but finally we get to listen or understand the definition of SM or strategic management. The subject, paper number 7B, 50 marks, very, very important. So, what does it mean? It means forming a strategic vision. What do we mean by vision? Something where we want to be. Where do we want to be is a strategic vision. Setting the objectives. How do we reach there? What are our small term objectives? What are they? Crafting a strategy on the basis of our vision and our objectives. Making a strategy. Strategy, as we discussed in our last class, is a blueprint, is a long term plan. It's a long term plan. And finally, implementing and executing the strategy, and finally initiating whatever corrective adjustments in the vision, objectives and strategy are deemed appropriate. Corrective adjustments means if there is any error, that error has to be bridged, it has to be nullified, it has to be demolished. Hence, strategic management, remember these keywords. Please remember forming a strategic vision, setting objectives, crafting a strategy, implementing and executing it, and making corrective adjustments if necessary. So these are strategic management. What is the objective of strategic management? It is twofold. First is to guide the company through all changes in the environment. Any kind of changes, which means external change or internal change. Whatever change may be there, we have to guide the company through all these changes, is the very first basic objective of SM. The second objective is to create a competitive advantage. We discussed the meaning of competitive advantage in the last class is to form something unique, is to make your company's product unique, अलग, बाकी सबसे अलग किस तरीके से बनाया जाएगा. That would give us an advantage over our competitors. Hence the term competitive advantage. So what does it mean? That is a position of a firm to maintain and sustain a favorable market position when compared to its competitors. This can only be by offering something unique what others do not offer. So it can be either a low cost advantage, you are selling your product at the lowest possible cost, TVS Scooty or Bajaj Scooter, Hamara Bajaj. They are selling at the cheapest rate as compared to Vespa, Honda Activa, etc. They don't sell, but Bajaj sells. Why? Because it has a low cost advantage. Low cost operations in relation to other firms. And the second competitive advantage is differentiation advantage. How are you differentiated from other? Again, the example of Maggi versus all other noodles, Top Ramen, YY, etc. None of these noodles have what Maggi have. They are they are absolutely different, and Maggi has a differential advantage of its awesome masala, which recently had led, but they are coming out with a new masala, so it has a differential advantage. That is being unique in the industry along dimensions that are widely valued by customers in particular. All of us value Maggi masala and the society at large. Even our society values Maggi masala. So we have a differentiation advantage. Either it will be a cost advantage or differentiation advantage, or both, it will give us a competitive advantage. Understanding the framework in which strategic management is achieved. What is the framework of strategic management? It happens in certain steps. So, this you have to remember step by step. The very first step of the framework of SM is situational analysis. Situational analysis means our present situation. present situation, where are we now? Abhi kahan khade hain? Where are we beginning from? What is our status quo? Status quo, present kya hai? So starting point, what is the starting point? Situation analysis, including what is our market position, what is our corporate image, doing the entire SWOT analysis on the basis of present scenario. After we do this, we come to the second step. We set our goal, where we want to be, हमें कहाँ तक पहुँचना है, where do we want to end. We want to become chartered accountants, we want to become successful chartered accountants, we want to become ultra successful chartered accountant. This is our goal. So the process of goal setting is vision creates a roadmap to company's future. We have to have a vision that would create a roadmap. We have to focus on the customer. As you know, customer is the king. Technology, market planning, type of company management is trying to make. So all these are goals that have to be set. They would lead us to where we want to be. After we decide the beginning and the end, we come to what are the ways to reach there, what are the means to reach there. Third step is ways or means. How can we reach our goals? This how defines ways. So all the alternatives have to be listed and they have to be analyzed or studied. Develop the alternatives to achieve the goal. What are the best alternatives to achieve the goal? After we go through the first three steps, finally we take a decision on the best alternative, which is the best way to achieve the goals. We took out certain ways, many ways, multiple ways to make a decision, but we zero in on the best possible way and evaluate. To select the best suitable way on the basis of SWOT analysis, and then we finally implement it. Step 5 is implementation. How do we ensure goal achievement? How do we control it? Is final implementation. So implementation and control of selected strategy is in step number 5. So please remember, the framework has to be remembered in these steps. The importance of strategic management is iski importance, or you can say significance, or you can say iski इसकी क्या महत्वता है. So all these things can be judged through these points. A strategy should be proactive rather than reactive. If it is proactive, which means you act before the damage is done, before damage, automatically that becomes the importance of strategic management. Second is it should act as a corporate defense mechanism. Defense. If the strategy is proactive, it would automatically act as a defense mechanism. It would save you from future threats because it is a corporate defense mechanism. Core competencies and competitive advantages for survival and growth have to be listed, and we get to know about core competencies and advantages through the corporate strategy. Finally, it helps us to find our path to various business opportunities that the environment or the business poses to us, and also ensures a good future driven strategy for the business. How are we driven towards future? This is also the importance of management. And finally, the influences and adaptation. How do we how do we adapt to the influences posed to us by the management or by the environment? That is working into the environment and shaping it instead of getting carried away by its turbulence or uncertainties. So turbulence means anything that is shaking. It shakes our business confidence. So these are threats. These happen due to threats. So what would help us shape proper is to avoid turbulence and uncertainties. We can avoid any kind of threat or turbulence or uncertainty if we make a proper strategy or if we do proper strategic management. Hence, this is the importance of strategic management. Now, coming to strategic decision making, how is a decision made through a strategy? Strategic decision making, or SDM, can be defined as a managerial process that involves a major or a small decision whether it is major or it is small. Depending on the kind of decision, it has its own importance, and a function to choose a particular course of action. Remember, to choose a particular course of action, we can only choose one course of action. And finally, out of the alternatives, we have to choose the best course of action. This is the decision making that strategy helps us to do. So the major dimensions of strategic issues are, the strategic issues should involve the involvement of top management. Strategic issues should have a proper resource allocation criteria. Strategic issues should have an effect on long-term success. Strategic issues should always be future generated. Always, please remember this. Unless until an issue or management addresses the future, it is useless. It should not be implemented. Strategic issues are major multifunctional or multi-business effects. Multifunctional, which means many functions within a business. Multi-effects, with the many functions may have many effects. So these are strategic decision making. And finally, strategic issues through consideration of external environmental factors, because these are the factors that pose either opportunities or threats. O and T means opportunities and threats. These are the dimensions that are involved in strategic decision making. So all the strategic issues are to be addressed through these factors or these dimensions. Now, coming to what kind of model should be there, SMM, Strategic Management Model. So the types of model that should exist and the steps in which they should exist are listed below. So the first step is formulate a proper strategy. A strategy can be formulated if you develop a vision and a mission statement. These two words we are going to understand thoroughly in our next lecture, vision and mission. To give you only an insight, vision means where you want to be, mission means how or what is your current mission in order to reach to our vision. So vision, when expressed, turns into a mission. Second, to establish objectives, long-term objectives, to generate, evaluate, and select strategies. When you have set vision, mission, and objective, finally you generate, evaluate, and select the best possible strategy. And strategy management issues are to be resolved, if any. So if there is any issue regarding strategic management, it will be resolved. So this is the first stage of model, that is the formulation stage. After we formulate, we come to the implementation stage at the functional level. So the functional managers, the managerial level, it will finally implement the strategic management model. And finally, you will try to evaluate that model. The targets and goals that are to be achieved have to be quantified. Quantified means you have to figure out a quantity. We want to achieve a target of 100 crores, or we want to achieve a target of 1000 units of sale. These are quantity targets. So all these quantity targets have to be evaluated and finally implemented. Strategic management models. So today's video focused on strategic management, objectives, importance, strategic decision making, and strategic management models. So spread the word of this education revolution, as you know that none of the people in the industry do this. CA Unacademy channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe on the links given over here. Hit the thumbs up. Write to me on my Facebook handle. Write to me on my Twitter handle. Spread the education for all revolution, Unacademy. And thank you very much for watching the tutorial. I'll be very soon coming out with the third tutorial on the second chapter.